but it is bizarre, it is disturbed, and it might just make you sleep with the lights on. It might just make you rethink when you go to the bathroom to check behind the shower curtain. It might make you rethink going to the doctor tomorrow.
Why we're here, right? Well, yeah, the goofy guy that I was having with decided to take off with my kill.
I killed Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon is my hero. Do I look like
After
a
that
black-haired,
episode,
black-eyed gimp?
You had no intention of keeping him
oh my god.
here forever as a slave in your basement.
Once they're done,
Call the police. Turk's gonna fuck him.
keep them.
On Christmas Day 2019, a Michigan couple grows worried when their 25-year-old son doesn't show up for the family breakfast. Police launch an investigation that will soon take them into some of the darkest corners of the underground
What'd I tell
fetish
you?
community, where violence
Chat. Do you believe?
and recreation go hand in hand. The detectives are now tasked to uncover the truth. Was an unhappy young man searching for someone who would release him from his misery for
Stuck.
good? Or did his search for pleasure drive him into the clutches
Grinder
of a
got
depraved
him.
cannibal?
So you would have taken more of his body and put it in the dehydrator?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's late in the afternoon of December 25th, 2019, when Flint Township police officers respond to a missing persons report in Swartz Creek, Michigan. The parents of
Becomes too
25-year-old
literal.
hairdresser Kevin Richard Bacon expected him to show up at their house
Bro, I guess he really did become bacon. Mm-hmm. Yup. I went there.
at 9 a.m. that morning for Christmas breakfast
Another
with the
fire
family,
joke to add
but
to
he
the
never
rest.
appeared. He's not answering his phone, and no one has seen or heard from him
Chat, I don't have the best gaydar, but me thinks he's gay. Me thinks he likes boys.
since the previous day. However, the parents provide information that give police a head start. They tell investigators that their son is gay and has been regularly meeting up
I fucking knew it!
with men through various online dating apps. In fact, his roommate reports that Kevin was headed out for just such a date on Christmas Eve. Police have no way of knowing at this point if
Slay.
Kevin's date is related
What
to
up,
his
man?
disappearance, but there have been several recent incidents involving online hookups in this.
Chat, the amount of true crimes I've seen, gay dating seems terrifying. Honestly, all dating seems terrifying. Like, you could be going on a date with someone and they fucking kill you.
Area.
Couldn't sleep.
Next to itself, he's running
This
down
will
the
make you
road,
never
trying to get an
sleep.
address for a
It
mailbox
is
or
really
something.
scary, and it is.
Kind of hysterical.
The fuck's going on?
One of these recent incidents happened only a month ago, on November 25th.
What happened to love yours?
Michigan
Be who
police
you are.
responded to a report about a young man
I've
running
heard
down
my
the
friends, bro, the stories I've seen, bro, oh god. I don't even know if I should tell this story because it's not even my story to tell, but one of my friends, bro, I saw him go through the craziest shit of my fucking life, dude. It was this, I think we were maybe 22, 21. I had this gay friend, and he was like, he was my age, I think, and he was engaged to like this 45-year-old dude who was like the manager of like, I think it was either Macy's or Dillard's, bro. And that guy had like a wife and kids, and he was fucking crazy, bro. Holy fuck, that old fucker was crazy as shit. The shit he did, bro, it was fucking nuts. And we both worked in the mall, so like me and this gay guy, we worked at the shoe store, and then his sugar daddy slash fiance worked at I think it was Macy's, bro. He was like a manager there, and they got engaged, and he had like but like when they saw each other in public in the mall, it was a secret. Like no one was allowed to know. And the guy had like a wife and kids, and it was just like mall drama. If you ever worked in the mall, you know, like there's like a little mall community of friends or whatever, dude. But like some of the crazy ass shit.
road wearing only a leather kilt and an older man chasing him down. This young man managed to get to
I
a
would feel
resident's house in the
bad telling
neighborhood
the stories because like thinking back on them now, like when I saw them and he was going through it, I was like, holy shit, bro, that's fucking nuts. But now I look back on it, like, damn, that's just pretty traumatic.
to call 911.
I guess I'll say this, give you an idea. I mean, this won't like get too much into like the weird, fucked up, like creepy, like abusive shit. He he like pulled a gun on him in the mall parking lot. I didn't see this, I just heard about it. He like pulled a gun on him in the mall parking lot because he thought he had told people that they were engaged or some shit. Like literally like in front of like some other people, I don't even know.
And if the details of
That
his
shit's
run through the
nuts,
area are
bro.
strange, his story of what happened immediately
Jeebus, bro,
prior
if
is even more bizarre.
listen, get caught by his wife. I honestly don't know. I had moved on with my life from like working at the mall and stuff before all of it came to a head. So I'm not sure. No, it was bro, dude. Okay, listen to this. I remember when I was in high school, there was this girl that I kind of liked, and like we were always just friends. And I remember she had like a 28-year-old boyfriend, and like I hated him, and he would like pick her up from school and shit, and come to like her sports games. I was like, what the fuck?
How far down? Try to hop safety.
Grinder is crazy.
Like white break. 3 stories. Took all your clothes off. Dude. Nothing like that happened. No. So it's trying, but okay. And I was probably 50. How do you know this guy?
He's hypertensive.
How long have you known him? How long have you known him? How did you meet him?
The caller admits that this started as a consensual meetup, not the first one he's had with the man. However, this
His
encounter
blood
soon
pressure.
turned
Does that stop you from having sex?
frightening. Once the man chained him up in his secluded basement, he told the caller that he was going to keep him captive. The moment the caller found an opportune moment, he fled the house to get to safety and call the police.
Let me ask. I'm asking you a straight up question, my man. Are you looking to press charges from what happened today? Okay, because here's the thing, is that if we start doing a bunch of investigations and he says, yeah, you know what, man, this guy told me he was into it, and all this, well, hold on, let me just explain this. And we end up doing all kinds of stuff, and you're not willing to do anything about this, then we kind of don't really have a whole lot of any leg to stand on at that point, you know what I mean? So what are you looking to have done out of it today? Okay.
Could the details of this strange
Damn.
incident have anything to do with the disappearance?
So this is before that the Kevin Bacon guy got missing. Another person was he chats because he's gay, bro. Police are homophobic as fuck, but they're all secretly gay. How are y'all? What up, Smee?
Of Kevin Bacon. Police aren't sure yet, but there are definitely some similarities. The young man from November made plans with his alleged assailant online, and that's where Kevin met his date as well. Kevin's roommate says he left the house at around 5:23 p.m. on Christmas Eve to meet the man, which was also recorded on the
Dang, bro was going on a date on Christmas Eve. That was a hookup.
home's Nest camera footage. She tells police she hasn't heard from Kevin since 6:11 p.m. when he sent this text. Okay, well, I'm going to be out for a while, actually. This is going to be fun. He's inviting more men. Merry Christmas. Not sure when I'll be back. Probably will be out late. So if Mom calls you, I'm sleeping. Ha ha. The circumstances surrounding Kevin's sudden
Damn.
disappearance are concerning for several
Kevin
reasons.
Bacon.
For one,
He's a good
Kevin's
actor.
parents admit to police that their son has tried to take his own life in the past. Could the story of an online hookup merely be a pretense to get out of the house and away from anyone who might prevent him from
Christmas.
trying again?
Merry Christmas.
Or did he run into someone with suspicious intent, like that young man from last month? Police in November
So
did
one guy got out from the sex chamber. Let's see, and I guess Kevin wasn't as lucky.
end up speaking to the older gentleman involved in that dispute, and while he denied any wrongdoing, something seemed strange about his behavior.
Hello. Why don't you come on out? Oh, sure. What can I help you with? Well, I think you probably know why we're here, right? Well, yeah, the goofy guy that I was having with decided to take off with my killer. Okay. Well, can you put the dog away so we can talk a little bit more about this? Because he's telling us one side of the story. We want to get yours. Went over to his place a couple of months ago. And then
Merry
he
Christmas.
contacted me and he says, hey, come on over, and pick me up, and I'll come out. I said, well, I got some tile that I need to. Okay. I said, then, we can play a little bit. And so
Some brain.
I picked him up, came over, all the tile, played around a little bit. Next thing I know, boom. He left this pile of clothes right here. He took my stilts. He's telling me that you want to let him go. You chained him up? Well,
Damn.
I got chained up stuff, but you had him he could have left at any time. Okay. Did he ask you to leave? What? Did he ask you to leave? No. He never asked to leave, and you had him chained up in the basement? Well, he was here today. Okay. So, yeah. Do I have chains? Yeah. So I got a sling. Was this just all like a bunch of role-playing type stuff? Bingo. All right. Exactly. So
Damn.
you had no intention of keeping him here forever as a slave in your basement? No. Okay.
Damn.
I've got too much going on for something like that. All right.
The man tells the police that the day was spent between
Damn.
two
He's
consenting
like, I'm too busy for that goofy shit. I don't got time to hide a twink in my basement.
adults, and he's perplexed as to what happened to make the other guy run off with his leather kilt.
We've seen one another a couple of times. How many's a couple?
We need you, man.
I met him at Walmart one day, and then he looked me up and found me and started, went back and forth on the internet for a while, just chatting
It's
back
not
and
hard.
forth.
It depends if they want to be hidden.
It's like, so he kept he was pursuing my account. Okay. Not a matter of me looking up him, and I'm looking at him going, okay, fine.
I'm
It's like,
trying. I believe in you.
You want to play for a day? I'll play. No big deal. All right. But as far as him going, that's crazy, I can't explain that at all. But everything you told me, everything was consensual. Everything was consensual. What's your name, sir? My name is Mark. M-A-R-K? Yeah. Middle name? David. And your last? Latunski.
With two conflicting stories about this encounter and the purported victim declining to press charges, there's not
bro. So many people don't press charges in those situations. It's crazy.
much more the troopers can do to investigate.
Mark
They
David.
file their reports and move on, not knowing that the disappearance of Kevin Bacon would lead them back to Mark Latunski much sooner than they thought.
He's a murderer.
Late on Christmas Day, Kevin's parents find their son's Saturn Aura in the parking lot of the Family Dollar. After opening the car with a spare key, investigators find $80 in cash, Kevin's credit and debit cards, and his driver's license. Even more concerning is what they find
He
in the
didn't
back
even take the
seat.
cash.
A grocery sack containing the clothing he was last seen wearing, his phone, and his keychain. The car key and fob have also been removed from the keychain. The following day, a thorough sweep of the strip mall property with a K-9 unit, a community search party, and a helicopter search produced no results. But despite 2 days of frustrating dead-end leads, this investigation is about to take a sharp turn. With some help from the Michigan State Police, detectives retrieved messages from Kevin's account on a dating app from the night he went missing.
Bro, I bet it was
He
Grindr.
was corresponding with someone calling themselves Olikos, and they made plans to meet up on Christmas Eve in front of Family Dollar, the very store where Kevin's family found his car. Using facial recognition software, police put the Olikos profile to a real name.
That's insane.
Mark David Latunski.
What's your name, sir? My name is Mark.
Troopers head out to Mark's house
my
again,
name is
but
Mark.
he says he doesn't know anyone named Kevin Bacon. Nonetheless, they thoroughly search the house and find nothing amiss until they go into the basement. There they encounter a disquieting
Imagine like the cops going to your house and seeing your sex dungeon.
sight that sends a
My name
chill
is Jeff.
down their spines.
My name's Mark.
Behind a partially hidden room, they find long chains attached to a pulley system in the ceiling and the naked body of a dead man hanging by his feet. They immediately handcuff Mark Latunsky
Oh
and put
my
him in the back of a
God.
patrol vehicle as they continue to process the horrifying scene inside. From their information and photographs of Kevin Bacon, they can quickly tell that they've found their missing person. But before they
Holy
proceed,
fuck.
police notice another disturbing detail. A part of Kevin's body has been mutilated. While the search for Kevin Bacon
Puzzle
has come to an
basement.
end,
Damn.
the
Oh my
inquiry into
God.
what happened here
What
is
up,
only
Oz,
just
baby? I
begun.
miss you too.
In the meantime, Mark Latunsky sits alone in the cop car, contemplating his fate.
Didn't take him long, did it? You want to treat him like a homicide. Of course.
Mark will spend quite a long time in the back of this car as the police carefully investigate the house. But he won't spend all of it alone, and it soon becomes clear to cops on the scene that it will not be easy to get straight answers to even the simplest questions.
Mark, I'm Sergeant Verdant, State Police, okay? Do you know what's going on? Do you know why you're in the back of this car?
Yes, I know why I'm back in the back of this car.
Okay, well, I just want to let you know I got my detective en route. My detective's probably going to want to talk to you.
Damn, Chess is
fine.
insane.
Okay, all right. I just want
Bro, imagine being that police officer walking down the stairs and just seeing a dude half mutilated hanging from a ceiling. That should be nuts.
to let you know.
And then once I talk to him, how am I going to get back home?
Well, let's get stage one first, okay? Let's get the detective out here.
Absolutely.
All
And
right.
then I can explain to him all the things that you guys don't know,
Okay.
and then I can
Yeah.
come back home.
Yeah, 'cause we want to know your side of the story, okay?
Absolutely.
But we'll wait for the detective to get out here. But I just want to at least let you know, okay?
Look, I understand.
All right, Mark. Hey, how do you pronounce your last name? Latunsky?
That's the name that you're going to have me in your system as, yes.
Okay.
The fuck does that mean?
Do I
He's
look
going
like a
home.
black-haired, black-eyed gimp?
What do you mean?
Latunsky.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yes. The
going
Latunskys
on?
are all black-haired, black-eyed gimps.
Hmm.
If the cop in the front
does that
seat
even
isn't quite
mean?
sure what to make
The fuck does that mean? That's terrifying. I'd be like, ew, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Don't talk to me.
of this declaration, it's hardly the last
I don't
curious
even
thing Mark
know,
will say in the back of the
Gimps.
car.
I went to Battle Creek, picked up this guy, had his leg amputated below the knee.
Hmm.
And he was the one who helped me decorate the palm tree.
Oh, really?
You want to know what electricity has done for me?
What's up?
It allowed my next door neighbor to shove arsenic into a hole and put it into my well and every well downstream for 2 miles. All my veins just dropped off.
Which one?
See you later,
The one
Oz,
that I
baby.
wear on my. But you don't know the facts. And the facts are,
Yeah, this
how
guy's
do you turn
tripping.
a black-haired, black-eyed boy who was born a cripple into a blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy who's Norwegian?
What the fuck?
Get some gloves. You don't want to touch anything that's been touching us.
What the fuck?
Nothing happens here in Shiawassee.
While Mark's collection of odd conversational subjects may
Actually
seem almost
crazy.
random,
He's
he brings many of
nuts.
them with him to the interrogation. He's particularly interested in sharing the backstory of his name, which is apparently a window into a complex family history.
Bro's nuts.
That is not my legal name.
Oh, it isn't.
No, that is a stolen identity. Mark David Latunsky was last, or at least the last record that I have of Mark David Latunsky was 1972. He was born in 1969. He has black hair, he has brown eyes, and he was born a cripple. So, what happened to Mark David Latunsky? I have no idea. Okay. However, all of the people that I grew up with
What the
knew
fuck?
that I'm not Mark David Latunsky. And they just failed to tell me. All I know is that I'm sitting here as the only living Thomas of Wales that I've been able to find. So, to what extent that
From the
makes
X-Files,
one
he's wearing a
iota of
kilt.
difference to why we're talking, I don't know.
It's a question that the detectives have perhaps
What
pondered
the
themselves by
fuck?
this point, since they are, after all, looking less at Mark's family records and more at any
Eat that
information he can
shit.
give them.
He's
that might
like, what does this have to do with anything? Fucking nothing.
explain how Kevin ended up dead in his basement. All the same, the police will speak to various people in Mark's life over the coming days, and through these interviews they will learn that Mark's fixations on his own mistaken identity are nothing new. They first speak
Oh,
with
what
his
a
ex-wife,
great...
Emily.
I don't know if you hear, but that was the best neck pop of the year. Oh, yeah.
It was at my son's birthday party, and he came out with all
Can't
these
stop me to
theories
do
that
it.
he wasn't actually his mother's
Wear a
son. He
mini
was his
kilt.
mother's brother, and there was a family fortune that he was supposed to get, and there was people watching him. And I tried for 2 years to get him to. He was hospitalized for twice in the stress unit. Tried for 2 years to get him to stay on medication and just to get him help, and he just refused.
Mark will give detectives every gruesome detail they want to know before this night is
I
through.
got you.
For now,
I love the
however,
mini
they
kilt
want to
with
get a better
fishnets,
understanding
yes.
of who he is.
What do you do? You said you mentioned you work. What do you do for a living?
Well, right now I'm doing construction. What I have done for a living is had my trust funds raided by people who were pretending to employ me and giving me back my own money.
The detectives quickly realize that
What?
getting any coherent
What the fuck, chat?
background information on Mark will be a chore, but he eventually acknowledges that he
Does that
spent
make
much of the
sense?
last 20 years employed as a chemist at 2 prominent companies in Michigan. However, for the past several months, he's been working odd
Story? Like
jobs,
what?
some of which seem pretty odd indeed for someone with a master's degree in chemistry.
He's
I was
Walter
looking
White.
for honest work. I started trying to pick up odd jobs where I would do something. Put up someone's drywall. No go. And so finally, using the name Vilcus, I put an ad on RentMan, and man, if I can give a massage and somebody's going to pay me, that's more honest money than what I was doing. If a man's going to pay me to rub him down, fine.
So how long have you been doing that?
Damn.
Probably
A masseuse.
well, I started it in about April of this year.
So like massages?
Just massages. It's like
The Wizard in 1997. That's actually interesting. What up, Zapper?
time with you. Man can't guarantee. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So, hey, guess what?
Gotta pay the
can't sell
bills,
that
though, for real.
because
However you
that's
can.
not the way the world works. But you want to spend your time with me? Boom.
Who's the Grinchy guy? They're interrogating him for killing someone, hanging his body up in the basement, mutilating and potentially eating it.
Your price, and I'll have a good time with it, and you will as well.
Mark's sudden career detour is hard to account for, even with odd stories of trust funds and hidden conspiracies. After being with his ex-wife and 4 children for a decade, his sudden interest in men has its own history that his ex-wife explains to the detectives.
I found a mail on the computer, and I asked him about it, and he said, "Oh, I just want to make sure I measure up. You just want to know how I measure up." And I,
What the fuck? Bro, chat, I only watch gay porn to see if I'm doing it right. Duh. I'm not gay. Like, I just want to make sure I know how. Make sure my measure up.
okay,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it.
As time went on, however, Emily began to realize there was more to it than that.
He admitted to me that he was cheating with men, cheating on me with men, and I found out that he had been, meeting men when he was traveling and after work.
Sorry, what?
And so we did counseling for a year, and that didn't go anywhere.
That
And he
must
was still
suck.
still meeting men, and so I filed for divorce. I said, I'm finished.
Mark's first marriage ended in 2013, leading to a messy divorce and child
What?
visitation
Caught
disputes, some of which
him?
involved
Don't
the
claim
police.
him.
It was
He's
in August.
tripping.
In the summer, he refused to bring them back. He was supposed to meet me, but he didn't tell me. We were supposed to meet in the morning to exchange the kids,
Of the
and he
items.
didn't show up. So I called him, and at this point, he'd already called CPS on me 3 times. And
Oh God.
so I called him, and he said, I'm not bringing it back. And I said, you need to bring them back. He says, I'm not going to. And if you don't like it, you can call the police.
Emily did call the police, which ultimately resulted in Mark
Handball? Yeah, I know what you meant, but handball is funny.
getting arrested for parental kidnapping.
Handball Lecter.
The charge was later dropped, but it nonetheless was one of the first serious brushes Mark had with the law. Detectives proceed to inquire about another incident that brought state troopers out to his home a month ago in November.
How's your day, Alu?
Back in November, the troopers came out.
Chet, I don't know, bro. Some people take BDSM way so far. Like, I like doing BDSM. I'm a little crazy, you know, but like, they get a little crazy out here. Autocorrect my nemesis.
Because there was somebody who
It's your soft
came
op.
from their house.
You know,
What I'm saying is, if that was a consensual act, at
This guy's
what point,
dildos. But is dildos TOS?
or what caused him to flee?
he was freely walking around the house. There was no problem whatsoever. I in fact had taken my eyes completely off of him. That's like, you know what? Like, if you want to sit upstairs, go ahead, sit upstairs. Go, do what you want.
Here's my thing, bro. Like, when I went to the sex museum in Vegas, there was like 2 foot long, like 15-inch dildos, like this fucking big around. Like, those are just for memes and jokes, right? Like, no one's actually putting that shit inside them. Like, that's not possible, right? No, goodness. They fit. Oh, God. Oh. I regret asking that, bro. Oh God. Ow. Fuck.
It was interesting that
Don't know nothing.
that at
You have
that point, and I don't
experience.
know exactly what.
Filling tube, man. Bro, and like some of them had like ridges and some, bro, there was this one and it said realistic dragon realistic egg laying dragon penis, and it was a dragon dildo, and on command it would lay an egg, like a little egg would come out of it. I know that. You know that one? Aren't they named Bad Dragons? Let me stop, bro. I've heard about that shit, but I steer completely away. Holy moly. Turk's like the mother lode. The holy grail.
What is
Smithy,
going
bro. Smithy looking up some weird ass shit, bro. I know the site, or is it a map? Bro, wait. So this is something that people just know about. Egg-laying dragon dildos.
on inside of his head? But he had full ability.
I thought this was like a crazy Vegas thing that just I got to see by going to Vegas, but apparently it's a normal thing.
To get his own clothes.
You know, squirrel?
They were right there. But he
Yeah.
went, and he went to one
Alright,
of
let's
the
log back into the video. Gay killer.
most expensive pieces of leather articles that I own, and put that on. My personal opinion is that he found the nicest piece of leather where he shimmied into it, and he was going to walk with it, and if he got out of sight where I didn't know where he was, boom, he could call somebody and say, look, and then go home with it.
Mark dismisses the November
That
incident
he's
and
got
claims
like
it was a matter
2
of personal
braids that
theft,
come down.
no matter how much the other man's accusations might be similar to what seems to have happened with Kevin. Detectives are taking nothing for granted, however,
So is your fault,
and they
Smith.
use the subject of Mark's apparent willingness to take
Always.
money from men online to circle back to their current investigation.
Did Kevin pay you for your time? Like when you were, did he? So
No.
Could you have mentioned you massages were $200 an hour and then 15 for a day?
Look,
So that was nothing.
In this situation, it was
Good,
there's
Andre, I'm
no
proud of you.
money.
You're a saint.
The question, of course, is what exactly
With
the situation
beards.
was that brought Kevin
Chat.
Bacon into Mark's
Are beards on guys W's or L's?
company on December 24th. And at last, investigators will hear Mark's version of how an online date turned tragic. A story designed to
W.
paint him as a man of compassion and honor, and not as a brutal murderer. He starts by describing their initial introduction on the app.
We chatted for a while. He described the things that he wanted. I did what I could to bring them.
I'm down for that. What is your fantasy? I like to expound things that you think about and make them real. Damn, bro, freaky Need to stay his ass inside.
Those things about, and
Yes, so fucking hot. If you can handle that, I'd be willing to try, absolutely.
after we sat and made an agreement about what was going to happen, we made the agreement,
What the
and
fuck?
he was supposed to disappear, be gone.
According to Mark, Kevin sought him out to spend a night that would culminate in mercy killing.
Okay, let's say that the police have a problem with it.
A mercy killing?
I said, the police have a problem with it, then,
Your
you know,
DMs.
then what?
What?
They throw me in jail. Or they
Don't
try
talk
to.
like that.
I said, I guess I'll just have to deal with that. But you know as well as I do that in our society, although we say, you know, a man can just go, does our society really allow that? No. And what it leaves behind is all kinds of I'm going to say things for his family that a man doesn't want to leave. Now, the things that I set up for him and plan to do for him in that regard would do something for his family that would make it easier. But that agreement between him and I really shouldn't have anything to do with anything but him or I.
The idea
He's
that Kevin may have sought
crazy.
out a stranger on the internet to help him end his life is almost unimaginable. But there was a possibility.
What?
In an interview she later did with a media outlet, Kevin's roommate said that after watching the hanging scene in the movie A Star is Born, Kevin was, quote, out of it. The next day he overdosed on pills and had to have his stomach pumped. Did these ideations lead him to ask for Mark's
Is
help?
rambling.
To find out, police need to hear the story right from the beginning.
When did he come to your house?
I picked him up. We met, physically met, in Swartz Creek. And that was when
Having a big beard like that
because
seems so
he had given me
inconvenient.
details of what he wanted.
Like, if you really think about that, think about, like, you just have giant, long-ass hair growing out of your fucking face. Like, not your head, not your armpits, out of your fucking face, like where your mouth is, just boof. Like, when I look at big beards, I actually look at them, they look kind of gross to me.
And
Stinky,
so I said,
probably.
"Well, I'll tell you what, I will bring
The plot thickens.
all of the things that you would need so that you can see them. I said, I will lay them out in front of you. I says, then I'll step back. I says, you need to decide. You need to decide
It's
because
that twin telepathy.
I'm not going to force you.
Mark describes that Kevin decided to change his clothes in the
How you
family
gonna eat pussy with a beard like that?
dollar parking lot and insists everything was entirely under Kevin's control.
What he wants is what he wants is what he wants. But at that point, I said, you know what?
He's gay.
I'm not going to put these on you. I says, take what you have, take it off, put it in this bag. And he says, you know what? Can I
Black Ops 3 with the kill,
I'm just gonna be out and you know, whatever we blabbered about. And I say blabbered just because I said, you know what, you say whatever you want to say.
Being the beard hairs.
And he says, okay, now that's it. I'm gonna turn my phone off.
The detectives now wonder if Kevin really knew what he was in for that night. Or is this Mark's clever attempt to paint the reality of this obscene situation in a more favorable light?
And I says, look, you know, this way you're leaving everything behind, and it's like done. And at that point he says, okay, I'm ready. I went around and I shut the trunk.
It's gonna get oily,
and
greasy.
And then I put, you know, he gave me the key, so that I could lock the car. I put his bag in the back. I locked the car.
You locked his vehicle?
I locked his vehicle.
So his stuff is in his vehicle.
His stuff was in his vehicle.
And then does he stay in the back of your van?
And he stayed in the back of my van.
Okay.
It's in your hair.
Then you leave the parking lot.
And then I left the parking lot.
Okay.
And then we went back to the house.
Mark's story, though utterly bizarre, is thoroughly detailed. This is why it's perhaps a bit surprising when the detectives stump him with what should be an easy follow-up question.
Do you know what you did with the keys for the car?
The keys were...
Bro, I'd be terrible in an interrogation because I'm so forgetful. I'd be like, I don't know, man. I was at home and I got to the gym. I don't remember the car right there. I disassociated. I worked out, I think. I tanned. I came home and I streamed. Like, fuck, I don't remember what I did.
See, he had the keys at first.
Kevin wanted to help ending his life. I mean, it's possible. I've heard of people doing that. Like, what was that one video I watched the other day where if you want to end your life, the government will do it for you? What country was that? Sweden or some shit? Denmark? I can't remember. Was it Canada for real?
No.
Oh god. It's scary.
But in any case, we went back to the house.
Yeah, Canada then.
Though Mark can't quite remember what became of Kevin's car keys, he can remember what happened when they returned to his house. And though many of those explicit details have been redacted from the interrogation video, enough remains to get a sense of their evening.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Or at least Mark's account of it.
You go to the house, there's activity.
Bam, shut up. That's not funny, bro. You're too loved. You are too loved. That's chat. Someone hit her with a newspaper.
Kitchen and then downstairs. And then
yeah, I mean, there's as far as I would consider it, the scene started, you know, when he said, yes, I'm in, let's start this.
Blindfold off.
Blindfold on, blindfold off, change positions. You know the purpose of flogging, right?
Don't know the purpose of it, but...
Okay, well what it does is
Flogging?
It activates the blood vessels in the skin so that the sensations of touch and feel are heightened because because the nerves are activated. So like I said, so it was through an entire, each
Vlogging.
of the different movements that went through a different scenario.
Mark's description here directly references an area in his basement that investigators have seen and photographed. Characterized by boards in the shape of an X, the area stands in front of the strange dirt pit in the middle
That's
of the
kind
floor.
of terrifying.
This ominous area was apparently one of the last things Kevin saw before he died. And now the detectives want to know how that came to be.
So then, exactly how did Kevin say, what led to Kevin's death? He was telling you specifically what?
Well, I mean, it was a fairly long conversation. It's difficult.
So yeah, so he's telling you previously, and then what you're saying, he asked you to do that for him.
Yes.
Bro, this guy, I don't know. I feel like they should just locked his ass up, threw away the key.
He was talking about how undignified, how...
Honestly, bro, I don't know. Sex dungeons are a little... Are you guys, like, you're gonna be married to a sex dungeon in your house, like, have kids, like, yo, don't go down there. Don't go in that room. It's the better. No, for real.
Sometimes we let people die.
I know it's better for the investigation
in that way.
The lawyers.
How they drag out. He actually came to tears. And we've talked about, several things. What was I going to do?
The doctors.
And part of it was the process
I want one.
Turning them into something that would grow towards
but I don't know.
family. He says, but my family will never know.
I feel like it would get possessed by ghosts.
Tulips are starvation food. They'll know that they'll have tulips. Do you want them to know that that's something that you're giving them? He says, no, it's not something that I want them to know. Is this something that you want them to know? And he says, no.
As outlandish as Kevin's plans for his remains may sound, this is far from the first weird detail that Mark has shared today. Indeed, in talking to Jamie, the man Mark married shortly after divorcing his wife, they realize that strange
Wait,
statements
he has a
have become
husband?
a big part of who their suspect is.
Are you guys still in a relationship at this
No,
point?
well, we're still legally married,
Yeah.
but we're separated. I mean, I got out of there because he was starting to just say a lot of very unusual things that just didn't make sense. And then he started just within this last year that the neighbor was contaminating our well, and I was like, why would he do that? It didn't make any sense to me that our neighbor would start contaminating our well. But he said, well, they are. You can't drink it. You can't bathe it. I'd wake up and he'd be over me saying that I was a gray, green-eyed tribe leader, and that when the world turned upside down, that my people were going to need me to lead them again, and that he was somehow the leader of the North. And I was oozing black toxins. He took me to Dr. Gomez to tell the doctor that I was secreting this toxin when I was sleeping.
Damn, this is a plot
And that was all
twist.
brand new since the end of summer, beginning of
And
fall.
that was since his being fired in February from his job.
Jamie may pinpoint the beginning of Mark's mental decline to this year,
Damn.
but others say it goes back quite
These
a bit
people's
further.
take. Bro, people have so much lore and so much life. This guy was like married for 10 years to the wife and 4 kids and had a gay marriage, and he's done some crazy ass shit.
Had a lot of, he believed people were watching him and all those, but believed that my brother and I poisoned as well. Because my brother's a plumber and he did all of the work on the house for the plumbing. And so.
Real.
But other than that, he was never a danger to himself or others that I believed. I got him to go in again, and then he came back out. And he was in the basement the second time. So yes, he was hospitalized before I moved out the second time, because he had medication that he filled again, but he wasn't taking it because I was counting them to make sure he was taking it. And I discovered that he wasn't taking it.
When he was hospitalized the second time, was at the same facility?
Yes. And that was I believe that was the time he
My
was
cousin
diagnosed
thinks
with
like that?
paranoid
Wow.
schizophrenia.
And that would have been maybe in
Honestly, it really is scary, like how easily our minds can completely break and we can just go off the deep end and become a crazy fucker.
2012?
Yes.
But a history of mental illness did not necessarily mean
Wow,
that Mark's
he used to look normal.
story is a fantasy of his own concoction. Perhaps it only helps explain why he thought that it made sense to provide Kevin with this kind of assistance in the first place.
For a while, I'm sorry, man.
I've never done this before.
You still look normal.
And, well, after talking to him in multiple ways, that was when he, I says, well, I could slit your throat. Here's the knife. I could do it that way. And I couldn't do it. I says, I don't know if that would
I'm
be
glad to hear that, man.
And you know, we debated it, all of the different ways. I said, I have a sword upstairs, but it's dull. It wouldn't work. I was afraid I would hurt
tumor
it.
or something.
I'm not ready. I couldn't do that. I couldn't run the risk
Kind of sounds like he has
of
schizophrenia.
maiming him and having him suffer.
Ultimately, Mark says he decided that a knife would produce the quickest, cleanest result.
Where's the knife now? It is upstairs in, because I cleaned it off, and it is upstairs in the dresser drawer. I think on the...
What's he gonna do? Charles Manson. The crazy thing is, Charles Manson never actually killed anybody, but he had people kill for him. But yeah, like the speech and the random bullshit.
Is it a bedroom? Someone's bedroom or your bedroom?
Yeah.
The police find the knife, as well as a receipt from Walmart. They go out to the store, where they photograph a knife in the display rack that matches the look and price of the one in Mark's possession.
Yeah, he even was in a studio and made a sample song with the Beach Boys.
Furthermore, they obtain surveillance video from the store that shows Mark purchasing the weapon that would end Kevin Bacon's life. The knife will surely prove to be valuable evidence in this investigation. But the central question remains, is it a murder weapon? Or is it merely the tool with which Mark ended Kevin's suffering on his request?
Damn.
It's like, this is what it is. And he looked at it. I mean, we laid together for a while. He asked me to. I did.
I'm sorry, asked you to do what? Just lay with him?
Just lay with him. Just lay with him and hold him. And finally, he says, you know what? I'm ready. I'm on the back side because he's laying on the floor and it would be across the room. And he had his head facing I'm going to say it would be the east wall. And so when I went in, you know, when you obviously have on the picture there's the spray that went to the left. There was a fair amount of blood. And I went, I don't want him to suffer. And I went, I can see that. And that was, and then of course it was a matter of doing what I needed to do to complete what I told him I would do.
Bro's
Turn
tweaking.
him into something that would produce life.
It soon becomes clear that no matter what the reality of the situation might have been in Mark's house on Christmas Eve,
What the fuck did he do
means
to
to
the body?
emphasize to the detectives that his greatest concern was minimizing Kevin's suffering.
I need to make sure that this is quick and not drawn out. And so it was then that it's like, okay, let's get this so that he
I'm honestly just like locked in this video. I really do like true crime and I've never seen this one, so because like honestly I'll see so many new videos and I'm like, I've heard this case before, I've seen this case before, or like I've like heard of it or some shit.
I was trying to speed it up at that point because he was already unconscious.
Okay.
But I could tell, because, I mean, you could tell he was, in any case.
I want to know what he did with the body.
It was the realization of this wasn't enough.
Mark tells the detectives that once he realized that even a direct stab wound to the base of the neck would not be enough to finish the job, he took further measures to ensure Kevin's quick demise.
For 2 days? From what, like a hangover or just been sick or what?
I took his head and I moved it to the side and this way. So it was as much as I could in order to, whatever it was, it at least initiated another gash that was.
I like how he's saying, like, he said I stabbed his fucking neck and he goes, I initiated a gash that caused more bleeding to minimize the suffering and to increase the speed of death.
There wasn't the spray like there was the first time, so it was at least more effective.
Mark's description of the stab wound and the
Sliced
subsequent
him
slitting
again.
of Kevin's throat matches what investigators have seen at the crime scene. But while it provides one possible
good Black
explanation
Friday
of how
deals.
Kevin's death came to be,
Morgias! 4 months. I feel like I've known you forever. You're amazing. You're perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
that's all it is at this point.
How's your
And
day,
there are
Morgus?
other aspects of Kevin's observable injuries that, sickening as they are, have yet to be addressed.
There's more.
Mark will eventually speak to those as well. But first, he takes the police through the next stage of this morbid evening.
I stayed with them for quite a while.
You're pink girly.
That was very important.
We've missed you. Welcome in.
I says, you will not die alone. I says, I won't.
You know, and that, to me, as an outsider looking in, that shows me the type of person you are.
I won't do that.
Oh, absolutely.
I says,
you're a man of your word.
Regardless of what it is, I won't let you die alone.
Yeah.
And
that's very stand up of you. I mean,
well,
not a lot of people would do that.
It wasn't easy. Once he was clearly deceased, then I was like, okay, let's get him up as much as I could, so that one, what blood there was that was in the sand could go out into the flower bed.
Sure. When you strung him or pulled him so he's suspended, the purpose was so the blood went to the ground.
Right. So the blood would go into the ground and it would be contained rather than because by that time he was already unconscious and it was just a matter of saying
These are like, well, that's the detective's job, is to make them feel like they're buddies and build that rapport. It's part of like the interrogation technique system, you know.
It's done. So it was
the technique.
After portion of cleaning him up. What I didn't get to yet was to wash him up.
Volunteers more info.
And I
he thinks the cops are on his side.
Out that was there to start to clean it up.
He thinks they're buying it.
But it was a matter of it takes a little bit of time to depending if you've ever processed a deer.
Sure. Let the blood drain out.
It's the same process.
As shocking as it may be to calmly compare the killing of a human being to the cleaning of a game animal, it's clear by now that Mark feels no remorse or regret about what he's done. On the contrary, he appears to view it as an act of kindness and mercy. Indeed,
honestly,
he
real.
Didn't even keep it a secret.
Jeez.
And even when I was talking to him, I don't feel that I did anything wrong.
Did you tell anybody else about this other than us?
I did, because part of my culture is that if you have an honorable death, then you have to tell somebody before you pass 3 houses.
What the fuck?
To tell someone, and even when I talk to him, he says, just call me Kevin Bacon. And I
what the fuck?
Okay, I said, if I say that I killed Kevin Bacon, he And no one would believe me because of my name. I actually texted
What the? Is it? Oh, because Kevin Bacon, the actor. That's why they have the same name. Bro, just years and years of mental health decline, and they just let it go. They don't try. They don't try to get help. They don't try to stop.
Before I ever did anything,
I was so confused for a second.
And I texted a friend who was, and I'm going to say, what's the correct word? Understanding of the situation, because he's a judge advocate in New York, and I sent him a text and I said, you know what, I did
His
this.
mind is snapped. It's completely gone. What up, Shorty?
And I love him. He's my hero.
No. Combination of lots of things.
Who's your girl?
I killed Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon is my hero.
It is yet another twist in this grim saga. Mark uses his victim's coincidentally famous name to confess without any fear of repercussions. Indeed, when police finally speak to Mark's friend in New York, he tells them that he hardly gave the unusual text a second thought. After all, such a murder would be headline news all over the world. Is this kind of slyness consistent with the story Mark is telling detectives? Perhaps that question...
It could all be an act to get, not go to jail and get into, an insane asylum or something as well.
...is in the back of their minds as Mark describes how he proceeded in the hours ahead.
I mean, there's definitely something wrong with them, obviously.
And I'm a little not covered, but it's like I had some on me. And I looked at it, and it's like...
Kevin Bacon is my friend.
I done what I needed to do, and I could wash this off. Nope, I'm not going to. And at that point, I went upstairs and I crawled into bed, and I just left it.
In a bone-chilling admission, Mark reveals that not only did he refuse to wash Kevin's blood off himself before going to bed, he kept it on even the next day.
What the fuck is that peanut butter for?
When he went to his husband's house for a Christmas Day gathering.
I got up and it was middle of the afternoon when I was supposed to go over and meet the other guys on the 25th. And I looked at it and I went, you know what? I'm not. And I left it right on.
That's crazy, Chad.
Put on what clothing I had, and I went, I'm not going to wash
BRB, hurry back.
It's unnerving to realize that just as Kevin Bacon's family was growing anxious about his absence from the Christmas festivities, the man who brought about his death was attending a nude gathering miles away with the blood of their son on his body.
And then people started showing up. Don't know exact times because I was busy, but I want to say sometime in the afternoon, like around 12-ish. Mark didn't get there until after everybody else had, and again...
So Mark was the last one to get there.
Mark was the last one to get there.
About what time do you think that was?
Again, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say around 1, 2 o'clock.
According to their interviews with other attendees, no one noticed anything out of the ordinary as it pertained to Mark. But the police aren't just interested in the gathering. They're interested specifically in Jamie, whose interactions with Mark continued after that day. Jamie explains that he and Mark went to the gym together on either Thursday, the day after Christmas, or Friday, which would have been only a matter of hours before police showed up at Mark's door. He says that even though he drove Mark home that night, he didn't enter the house and thus had no way of knowing what was hanging from the ceiling of Mark's basement. Under normal circumstances, Jamie might have been able to check his text messages to better frame this timeline. But that is, unfortunately, and perhaps for police, not possible.
I was going through the messages, reading them over, seeing what what was in them, so I could...
Yeah, his, outfit and his haircut's giving guilty.
To see if I missed something somewhere then I went to, hold the phone, and next thing I know, they're all deleted because somehow I had touched these phones. I swear to God, they're so sensitive. Touched something to make it go.
He deleted all the messages between him and his ex-husband who just killed somebody. Guilty! Nah.
Delete all, which I never meant to do.
The matter of these deleted texts is not a possibility for police, as they can typically recover all deleted messages. For now, however, they listen to Jamie and others tell them that for all of his
That's like something your cheating boyfriend says. Oh, shit! Fuck! I just actually deleted everything on my phone. Man, I just reset my whole phone. Factory issue setting. Fuck. God. Oh, I just actually deleted the whole conversations. Oh my God.
Eccentricities.
No, for
Killing
real.
the man seems wildly out of character for Mark.
I never thought he would ever be capable of anything like this.
I don't know. I don't know. This is not his personality. I can't see Mark hurting a thing. I just don't see it. I've never seen him move bone in his body.
There was nothing that ever would have said he would do anything like this.
Does their disturbed and confused position on Mark's actions only strengthen his story?
Good.
That he was doing an honorable favor for a man in need.
Have you ever been requested in the past to do something that you did to Kevin, where they were down or they wanted to end their life? Have you ever assisted?
No, there have been people who have hinted at it.
Okay.
There have been people who, just kind of play around with it a little bit. But I've always
by myself. But you're not by yourself, you and me, everybody else in chat.
I've shied away from it for obvious
Come
reasons.
on.
Have you taken the life of anybody else? I'm speaking
to my knowledge, no.
Okay. What do
To
you
my
mean?
knowledge.
I have not taken anybody. I'm telling you, this is the first time
It's hard. It really is. Especially in like certain
But
cases.
for as much as the
it's
detectives
definitely
may
a
want to
hard one.
believe that, there are reasons to think otherwise. Starting with the incident from November where a panicked man in a kilt was running in
Is
fear
there
from his home.
more?
But
Another
even
body?
that was not an isolated occurrence, as police soon found out. Looking through their own reports, they see a call a man made in October, not far from where Mark lives. The man says he was picked up from the Greyhound terminal in Flint by an unknown individual that he intended to spend the night with. However, that night he woke up restrained in the basement of the man's house. Terrified, he used a nearby knife to cut himself free before fleeing the house in a state of panic.
What the
When
fuck?
he got far enough away, he called police. But the strange thing about this incident, as police will only learn in the aftermath of Kevin's death, is that the man from the October report is actually the same New York friend that Mark sent that cryptic text to on Christmas Eve. I killed Kevin Bacon.
What
Kevin
the
Bacon
fuck?
is my hero.
Like in a movie?
On December 30th, 2 days after the initial interrogation, police questioned Mark about this incident.
This particular time that he was at the house, though, when he was out running away, he claims running away from me because he was scared.
Oh, he says that?
Yeah.
He didn't tell me that.
No.
But
was there a time where you had him held against his will at any point?
No, he had free reign.
It was all consensual.
That was all
Damn.
completely consensual.
When police speak again to the man from New York, he acknowledges that the October incident happened, but indicates that his call to 911 that night had more to do with getting lost on the roads than from wanting to report a crime.
Damn.
He went back to Mark's house willingly and stayed for an additional few days.
What
Even
the
so,
fuck?
The similarities.
Bro, people get fucked over by someone like that, like get picked up, wake up and like chained up. Like, alright man, I know that was weird, I know you had to be chained up and all, but can we like just chill out with the whole tying me up type? Bro, I would not feel safe there. What the fuck?
Between these stories cannot be ignored, and they cast some degree of doubt as to whether Kevin's death was the mercy killing that Mark is making it out to be.
That's crazy.
Further
He said
complicating the
that-
situation is a text Mark sent to his husband Jamie in the early morning hours on December 25th. A message about bringing Bacon over for the gathering, but warning, it's not the kind you like.
Quite sure I mentioned something about coming over bacon, and yes, I do remember it seemed like there was something said in a text message about bacon and you wouldn't like it. And
So like you chained me up, I guess we're
Did you
chill.
respond
Yeah,
to that?
it's whatever. You know, I think I can look past that. I forgive you.
Not that I remember. Besides, I know there's some conversations, about the bacon thing, and of course the victim's name is Kevin Bacon. That would upset me, seeing something like that. Is that how you kind of take it now?
no, not until you just mentioned it. I never even put the two together.
Okay.
Did you know the victim's name was Kevin? You had to.
I
We talked
knew
about it in the interview.
after the interview, yes, but I didn't even think, like text messages when you said about the bacon, it's like, and I never put bacon and bacon as.
The fact that Jamie
Damn.
accidentally deleted all of his messages with Mark makes pinpointing the specifics of the conversation more
Bro,
difficult.
you guys think Jamie's
but not,
guilty?
as Jamie seems to understand, impossible.
But I knew that there's no way, from what I've been told, with computers, which an iPhone is nothing more than a computer, you can never delete everything. Nothing is permanently deleted.
Indeed, it isn't long before the police get a first-hand look at the message Mark sent to Jamie that night.
Oh no.
It says, among other things, "I had bacon for dinner last night." The word bacon is capitalized. It's an extraordinarily suspicious message,
What the
considering
fuck?
Mark's insistence
Absolutely,
that this
it
killing was
seems
done
he's
with
guilty.
solemnity and the utmost respect for human dignity. But that suspicion can only turn into abject horror when one realizes fully what Mark did after killing Kevin that night, and what he had planned for the days ahead.
And it was then that I started to do what I told him I was going to do. I was going to eat part of him. And I did. It was the new moon. And honoring my word to what I said I would do.
He ate part
Mark's
of
word
him.
in this instance extended to castrating the now deceased Kevin Bacon.
Was that his wishes? Is that the main reason why you did it?
It was
Part
it was
two.
the
Holy
discussion,
fuck.
like wherever, whatever is consumable is consumable. So I said, I will eat you, and he says, okay.
How did you do that? Did you cook them? Did you?
Oh my god. Welcome back, Cotto.
Where did you do that? I mean,
On the kitchen stove.
like with a frying pan.
It was the griddle. And
That.
I mean, I eat Rocky Mountain oysters anyway.
Sure.
I have a carton of them that I had bought. And so it's really very simple. You slice them thin, you saute them with some Worcestershire sauce, and once they're done, you just eat them.
Mark describes this part of the evening's activities with the same chilling calm that he described the rest of it.
This is nuts,
and it turns
bro.
out that this late-night snack was only the beginning of
Late
his
night
deranged
snack
intentions.
is sick.
The other portions
one, it
were going to be a jerky and the like. I mean, I didn't know that at the time, and so afterwards, and in fact, I mean, yesterday, maybe it was, depends on what day it is now.
Now Saturday morning.
But I just ordered
It's crazy, I know.
a dehydrator so that, so
a dehydrator.
So that, I mean, I said not knowing, just so that I could continue to process the way and do what he wanted me to do.
So you would have
strong stomachs. I know, because they just have to act, inviting, accepting. So he just keeps talking, keeps spilling. He was going to make jerky.
Would have taken more of his body and put it in the dehydrator.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A couple of days later, the police intercept a package from Amazon that was headed for Mark's address. Inside, they indeed find a Magic Mill food dehydrator. But that's only one aspect of the comprehensive plans he made for Kevin's remains.
His internals were going to go out back, and I was going to put the peach pits in them. And then the rest of them, I have
Worcestershire sauce.
The
Can't even fucking pronounce the
chestnuts,
sauce he's seasoning you up with.
that are in the refrigerator. And I had been meaning to plant them before, but really never had anything that, to grow them with. I was going to drop the chestnuts into a portion of them. There's a pile of mulch out back. I was just going to cover them with mulch.
You're going to cover the bones with mulch?
No, not the bones. I was just going to take the internal gut portion.
What the fuck? He had
and
plans for each section of the body?
get rid of it. So that they were each growing things. The muscle portion was going to go into the dehydrator that I purchased after,
Yeah, Amazon
yesterday.
Prime
It's
did.
going to be delivered on Monday. Because that was, that came out of the discussion. So I didn't have anything, planned for it at that point.
Holy fuck.
And then,
he was ready to eat it.
I was going to, crush up the bones into bone meal, and then see if,
Seasoning.
What?
Seasoning, is that what you said?
No, grind them up into bone meal. And
wait, bone meal's real? It's not just a Minecraft thing? Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy, Turk, too. He doesn't understand what he's delivering.
The bone meal and pair them with tulip bulbs.
Yes.
And figure out some way to
Let's
have them appear somewhere.
To the very end, Mark sticks to his original story, that this was a benevolent act meant only to fulfill Kevin's own wishes. But that story has some holes, starting with those earlier incidents where men he held captive had to escape and call the police.
He never asked to leave, and you had him chained up in the basement? Well,
there's also the matter of the trip to Walmart Mark made to purchase the knife. This wasn't a purchase made 6 months ago.
Why do they never have a
even
knife
6
on
weeks
hand?
ago. Mark bought that knife on Christmas Eve, only a few short hours before he plunged it into the back of Kevin's neck. But perhaps most damning is the fact that police have the chat between Mark and Kevin from the dating app.
Whoever sent out these DMs are trying to blur it with this filter so you can't tell what app it's from. What app is this? What app is this? It's not Instagram. I don't think that's Twitter. It's a dating app, so I'm not gonna know. Who recognizes these message boxes? Apple phone. Those aren't iPhone messages. Background black Grinder. Yeah, it's Grinder.
And while Mark goes into a great deal of explicit detail regarding the plans he has, neither he nor Kevin mention anything about the night ending in Kevin's demise.
You guys find a Mark Latomsky out there with black hair and black eyes and is a cripple? I want to know where he is.
But that's not going to be the main priority of the police or the prosecutors. They arrest Mark David Latomsky for 1 count of open murder and 1 count of disinterment and mutilation of a dead body. As for Mark's estranged husband, Jamie, the police asked him to take a polygraph test and concluded that he had nothing whatsoever to do with the crime.
Damn.
And again, I'll just ask you again, you had nothing to do with this. You had no knowledge of Kevin being at the house, Kevin Bacon, he never told you what he did to him, nothing.
No, I think this is awful. I think I can't.
What would you have done had you been told or made aware of this prior to?
If I had known what had happened, I would have come to the police.
In September of 2022, roughly 3 years after his arrest, Mark Latomsky pleaded guilty to murder and the mutilation of a dead body. Following a trial in December 2022, Mark was sentenced to life without parole for 1 count of first-degree murder and 11 months for 1 count of disinterment of a dead body. Mark is currently serving the sentence at Gus Harrison Correctional Facility in Michigan.
How did bro not get life? That's what I want to know.